Now, I want to jump into Black History Month that I spoke about last week. I jump-started it with speaking about some amazing women. And Black History Month is really a way to honor the strength, brilliance, and resilience of Black people, past, current, and future. I found someone that I wanted to focus on today, and this person is about our future. His name is Heman Belki. And Heman is a 16-year-old Ethiopian American scientist who last year was named the Kid of the Year. He's a remarkable human being. He is here to make a profound imprint on this world. You see, he started creating potions when he was just 7 years old. He would go around his house and he would mix things up and he would put it under his bed to see what it looked like in the morning. Can you imagine? So they were just things like soap and laundry detergent and common household chemicals, but it turned into a passion for him. So for his 7th birthday, he was given a chemistry set. He also started using more intense chemicals where he actually decided he thought he could make a solution to energy and make a supply of unlimited energy. And what happened was he ended up starting a little fire. That's when his parents said, I think we need to watch this kid and, and make sure we know what's going on. So at 15, he had a whole lot of people paying attention to him. 15, you guys, 15 years old. 3M started noticing what he was doing. He was a rising star as a 10th grader in Woodson High School in Fairfax County, Virginia. And he was the winner of its Young Scientist Challenge. He won $25,000 for his accomplishments. But it doesn't stop there. What he's done is he started creating a soap that could one day treat and prevent multiple forms of skin cancer. Can you imagine that? Every morning you're in the shower and you soap yourself up, and then you go out into the world and you don't have to worry about skin cancer? This is just remarkable to me. This is going to make a huge difference. So he says, I'm really passionate about skin cancer research. Whether it's my own research or what's happening in the field, it's absolutely incredible to think that one day my bar of soap will be able to make a direct impact on someone else's life. That's the reason I started all of this in the first place. No wonder he was Kid of the Year, right? So it's that ambition that Time Magazine noticed him. He's doing project at Johns Hopkins. He is bound for greatness. He is already great. We knew that before he was even 7 years old and got that first chemistry kit. So these are the kind of people that I want us to notice. Because when we notice the good that they're doing, it makes for us to take a moment and see what our gifts and talents are. He's applied his passion to it, and he's going to make a change in this world because of it. So as we go on to aligning for our good, what I want to say is that the affirmative prayer technique, or affirmative prayer treatments that we call them, in this center are the number one way to align for our good. Now, I'm not saying you have to be a licensed prayer practitioner to pray, because a lot of times, thank you is enough of a prayer. But we must be in prayer all the time if we want to align for our good. So from the book of the month, The Secrets of the Lost Mode of Prayer by Greg Braden, he says the lost mode is a prayer that's based solely in feeling, rather than the sense of helplessness that often leads us to ask for assistance from a higher power. Feeling-based prayer acknowledges our ability to communicate with the intelligent force that 95% of us believe in and participate in the outcome. Without any words, without our hands held in a certain position or any outward physical expression, this mode of prayer simply invites us to feel a clear and powerful feeling as if our prayers have already been answered. It's a very different thing than begging some power or Big Daddy in the sky to give us the goods. Very different. And I say it's like this. When we live from a place that prayers have already been answered, that's how we align with our good. So Ernest Holmes says, prayer in its truest sense is not a petition, not a supplication, not a wail of despair. It's rather an alignment, unifying a process which takes place in the mind as it reaches to its divine self, and to that place in the mind that knows the power which is greater than human understanding. Human understanding. There's a limit in human understanding. If we allow ourselves to reach out to the highest of highs, all needs are met. And then some. He goes on to say, in the act of such prayerful and reverent communion with God, one senses the unity of good, the completeness of life, and the veil of doubt is lifted, and the face of reality appears. How many times have we prayed but had a doubt that still lingered? How many times have we just really been in a prayerful place and wanted some kind of shift, but yet there was this veil of doubt? So we can go beyond that veil of doubt. The consciousness, which has been referred to as a secret place of the Most High, is an experience rising out of conviction that good and God is all there is, beside whom there is none else. Good and God is all there is. So, I've told you about prayer, and I've told you that thank you is enough of a prayer, but I also want to tell you about our practitioners here. Our practitioners here, and we have practitioners yet to be licensed in the room that have been studying. You saw some of them standing up here and heard some of their names. That if you can't do a prayer for yourself because that veil of humanity is so in your face, then go see a practitioner. You know that every Sunday after service, they're in that room across the way offering prayers for you? As we're sitting in this room, Jim is holding the highest consciousness, holding the best and brightest for your life right now. I know that Teresa and Linda and Lana and Selena and all of us practitioners on a daily basis, we pray for all of you and all those prayer requests. So if you can't come see us in person, you can put a prayer request on our website. You can put a prayer request in the box. See, there's no excuse not to pray. If you can't pray for yourself, reach out and have us pray for you. It's what our community is based upon. So, I was praying this week when I was admittedly watching some news. And I went into prayer and I thought, how can I navigate a time where it feels like our Constitution is going out the window? How can I do this from the upper room of consciousness when so many are concerned and worried? And then some are thrilled that it's going the direction it's going. And yet I know those people that are thrilled also want the same things out of life. They're also filled and overflowing with God and good. How do I navigate this? I went to my computer and I opened my email, and there was an email from Reverend David Alexander. Him and his community have done so much for Centers for Spiritual Living, including that 28 days that we, no, it wasn't 28 days, it was the days that we prayed before the election, right? This community has done a lot of different things. And he sent an email and he said, he invited us ministers to use it as we need. And the minute I read that, I said, oh, this is my answered prayer. So this is what he says. He created this liberation lens guide to navigating chaotic times. And I'd say, we're in those times right now. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's a crazy time right now. He came up with these 4 ways, and I'm going to add some extras to that. What he said was educate, activate, rest, and recalibrate. First of all, educate. Knowledge is power. Not everything you read on the internet is real, folks. We know that, right? You have to dig in deeper. If you see something that looks kind of crazy, don't take it at face value. If you want to know what's really going on, you have to do the extra work. Because unfortunately, the media that we consume has gotten rough. That's a good word. Corrupt. It's all kinds of different things. It's a lot of times untrue. It's a lot of times fear-based. It's a lot of times, something to get your attention rather than the truth of what's happening out there in the world. So we have to do that work by doing our own educations. See, doom scrolling, and I'm guilty of that sometimes. Doom scrolling, you know what that is? You get into a funk, you hear something, and then you start scrolling on it, and you read a story, and then that leads to another story, and that leads to another story. That doesn't do any of us any good. If you find yourself there, don't beat yourself up. Start looking for the truth. Look at other avenues. Find other sources. The next one he said was activate. Awareness is not enough. We must act. The forces of injustice are counting on us to be worn out, apathetic, and emotionally drained. I get it. I have those days where I wake up and I'm like, I give. It's just such bad news. If I focus on that all the time, why am I going to act? But this is a time we really need to act. And if acting means for you to go into prayer, awesome. If acting means that you are at the Capitol building on the 5th, marching for peace, awesome. If acting means that you're going to call your congressman and say what you believe, awesome. Here's one that we can do. Instead of using the initials DEI, let's call it what it is. Diversity, equality, inclusion. We live in a world full of acronyms, but they lose the power when we don't use the actual words that they are. I don't know what is yours to do with all of this, but we must act. In the prayer practitioner world, we talk about this thing, treat and move your feet. That means you don't just pray, but you actually get up and you do something. It's time to do something. The next is rest in resistance. In this system designed to extract us from our time, our labor, our energy, our joy, choosing to rest is a radical act. You know what? Yesterday, I've been so busy doing, and I had a lot to accomplish yesterday, but you know what? I didn't get out of my pajamas. And it felt so good. It's exactly what I needed. Think of that. Rest is a radical act. I'm saying that over and over because I need to hear that. I get so busy with life. So in a world that measures worth by productivity, where exhaustion is worn like a badge of honor and burnout is a default setting, rest is a radical act of resistance. In order for us to act, in order for us to show up and be who we're here to be, we must take care of ourselves. And then finally, recalibrate, return to community. Here we are. After you've rested, you come and you connect. So I know that connection these days can be very different. Because over those COVID years, we got used to being home in our pajamas, connecting online, connecting on the phone. But I really believe that humans need to connect in person. We need to see each other. We need to feel the energy from each other. We need to hug each other. We need to support each other. So whatever it might be, maybe it's a sports team that you're connecting around. Maybe it's this community of spirituality that you connect through. Maybe, I'm looking at Lana, it's a knitting club that you lead and support. There's so many ways to connect. We must stay connected. Find a book club, like what Myrna's doing, that sports league. Whatever brings people together. Prioritize face-to-face time with each other. And it doesn't have to be hours and hours. It can be meeting someone at the corner shop for a coffee or a tea. Make that time. Surround yourself with people who inspire you or challenge you or uplift you. So I'm going to say those 4 points again and then add a couple others. Educate. Activate. Act. Rest. Recalibrate by coming here, coming together. Pray. Again, ask for prayer. Or be very conscientious of your gratitude. Say thank you. Sit daily in gratitude and in meditation, because in that meditation stance is where we get to come home to our true and essential self. If we get caught up in the world and what's going on, it's easy to get caught in that race consciousness of news. But the moment I sit in the silence and remember who I am, that I am one and the same as the one always connected, not floating around this earth by myself, feeling that oneness, it helps me get through my day because I know the truth. And finally, feel the joy. Bring joy to everything we do, even on a hard day when we hear of Dick's passing and loved ones in our community that are going through rough times. It's more important than ever that if what brings you joy is going skiing, that you go skiing, that you go hiking, that you go play cards with your friends, that you do what brings you joy. It's a must-have on your list, my friends. We have to have that first and foremost before we go out there and act, so that we don't react from a place that we don't want to come from, because we don't want to come from that place of hate and exclusion. We want to come from this place of love and joy and inclusion. My calling to all of you is to pay attention to this list. Do what you can on a daily basis. Let's pray. So just taking in a deep breath, this has already been such a rich day, filled with blessings. I'm just incredibly grateful. I am grateful for the life of Dick. And I'm grateful for Audrey and the entire family. For Carrie, Missy, Sasha, Brianna, Dick's sons, his daughters, his grandchildren. I'm grateful because Dick is at a place now where he sees the truth of interconnectedness of all things. He knows life eternal. Grateful to know this for this beautiful family. I'm also grateful to know for Golda and Gordon and all their kids and grandkids, that they are supported in this field of love. Love of family, love of friends, love of community. They are not alone ever. I'm grateful for this community and how we show up and take care of each other and love each other. I'm most grateful to know that there is only one power, one presence, whether we call it God, Spirit, Allah, Jehovah, Hashem, the way, universe, the force, the divine matrix, light, energy, so many names, and it's everywhere at every moment. It's omnipotent, omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient, omniconsciousness. Everywhere, every moment of every day, in everything, in all things. So knowing that truth, I claim and know that I am one with the one. My consciousness, my heart, my circumstances, situations, my grief, my joy, my life is all enfolded, interconnected into this oneness. And I know this is true for everyone within earshot of this prayer. We are one in the same. We know that our joys are everybody's joys, and our grief and our sorrows is everybody's sorrows, because we can never be separated from it. We are the ones. We are the ones to bring peace. We are the ones to live in a field of diversity, equality, inclusion. We are the ones to bring it into this world by first and foremost knowing it for ourselves, loving ourselves as Teresa talked to us in her beautiful meditation this morning. First, by loving ourselves so that we could truly love everybody and everything in this world, and mostly align with our good and that love that comes back to us. See, I claim and I know this in this instant, in this moment, even when it looks the way it looks, the universe is here for our good, for our love, for our abundance, for our wholeness, for our health. Whatever it is that you're praying for is also my prayer too. So go ahead and add your name to this prayer field and the names of other beloveds that you're praying for. I'll give you a moment to do so. Cindy, Madeline, Shauna, Yes, yes, yes. There's no prayer request that's too small and no prayer request that's too large if your prayer is world peace. Be that peace. Bring that peace. Feel that peace. As we come from this place, this feeling space of all needs met, prayers have been answered, and the answer is yes. Feel that yes. How does that feel? Do you feel the joy? Do you feel the freedom? Do you feel the love? That's what we're talking about. As we align for our good, we are thankful for answered prayer, thankful that we've come together in this particular way on this day. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We never forget to say thank you and to be grateful. And as we've sat in this gratitude and this prayer field, it's time to just let it go and let it be. There's nothing that we need to hold on to, but just release it into these spiritual laws that we know and we love and we study, and we know they work every moment, 100% of the time. So with that knowingness, we release it together by saying, and so it is. Amen. Ashe.